David asks, what are your thoughts on the Rode PodMic with an M Audio Solo M-Track interface? So the Rode PodMic is great. Let's go ahead and switch over to some Rode microphones. Do you already own the Rode PodMic? Is that why you're asking? Here. I got so many freaking mic stands over here. You guys, if you guys don't see what I'm doing, I'm like juggling these mic stands over here, trying to bring this one in. So Rode is actually sending me a PodMic. How did I get the sound? I'll tell you in a minute. I'll tell you how I did the sound in just a minute, Fiscus. It's a thing I use called a Stream Deck. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to my Rode Procaster microphone so we can talk about Rode mics. And so this is my Rode Procaster. So I love Rode microphones, and this one is kind of the big brother to the PodMic that you're talking about. Rode is going to send me, you bought it, but you never got the interface. So you have the PodMic, but you don't have the M Audio interface yet. Is that correct? It sounds like that's your situation. So if that's the case, then the M Audio interface is fine. There's nothing wrong with that interface. You're going to get a similar sound from the M Audio interface that you're talking about versus even something like a Focusrite Solo. It's going to be a very, very similar sound. The M Audio preamp is an average preamp. It's fine. And the PodMic will sound pretty good through it. It doesn't have, to my knowledge, the M Audio interface doesn't have built-in processing, which is the thing that makes the biggest difference with any of these microphones. If you wanted an upgrade of your sound, the PodMic sounds good, but really what's going to upgrade that PodMic sound is having amazing processing to go along with the sound. So something like I mentioned earlier, having the Rodecaster Pro mixer makes something like the PodMic sound godlike. But you don't necessarily have that piece of equipment yet. For example, here in the mixer, as you can see, sorry, a little disorientation for a moment. As you can see, inside of the Rode mixer, they actually have a PodMic button. And so if you buy the PodMic and you integrate that into your Rodecaster Pro mixer, they've got a button here that automatically optimizes the mixer for that particular mic to make it sound amazing. Right now, I've got the Rode Procaster button pressed, and so it's optimizing for my Rode Procaster mic that I'm using right now. So the M Audio interface will be fine. You're just going to need to do some work in post-processing with that microphone to make it sound beefy and make it sound good. You're going to need to add some EQ, maybe some noise reduction, etc. And it's going to have a similar sound profile as this Rode Procaster microphone that I'm using right now. The Rode Procaster is currently my favorite XLR-only microphone. I love this microphone. It's a big hunkin' microphone that can double as a deadly weapon. It's just a giant mic, as you can see, and I love it. So if you like the big, hunky broadcaster microphone with broadcaster sound, this is the microphone for you, the Rodecaster Pro or the Rode Procaster mic. And it's an XLR only mic. I've got it inside the official Rode shock mount. And as you can hear, it sounds really big. It sounds really bassy. And it really benefits being close to your mouth, as you can see right here. I have it like 3 inches from my mouth, and it just sounds fat. This microphone sounds fat. You guys can hear how big and how much presence this microphone has, right? It sounds really radio broadcastery. It also sounds a little noisy too, right? That is the sound that Rode microphones bring to you. That's the unique sound. Shure microphones have a clean sound. Rode microphones have a big presence. And so it all depends on what sort of sound you want with your microphone, but I prefer the big presence. Sometimes when I'm in my podcasts, I like having a big presence-y sound. Excuse me. A big presence-y sound like this one, like with the Rode Procaster. And then when I do business calls or coaching calls or consulting calls, I prefer to have a clean sound like the Shure MV7. That's my best explanation on that topic for you.